Test 3 is going to cover information from chapters 8 and 9. Now, one thing to go ahead and put out there is it might sound really great that the test is only on 2 chapters, which that is, but there's a lot of information in both of those chapters. So just kind of be aware when you go into that, knowing that there's a lot of material in just these 2 chapters. Now we're going to be continuing on with our trend of having the chapters for our nutrients that we talked about at the very beginning, those 6 classes of nutrients. And we're going to pick up in chapter 8 with vitamins. So chapter 8 is going to be dedicated to vitamins. We're going to be discussing the difference in fat-soluble vitamins and water-soluble vitamins. And we're also going to be looking at the roles of each of these vitamins. We're going to look at them individually, and we're going to look at their roles, why they're important, how much is needed of them, what are food sources of them. And one thing that we focus a lot about in our vitamins and our minerals chapter are deficiencies and excesses. So what are some of the deficiencies that pop up if you're not getting enough of this particular vitamin? What are some risks of excesses? Are there risks of toxicity? How does that happen? And so how do these all tie in together? So we're going to look at vitamins in chapter 8. That's going to be dedicated to vitamins. We're also going to look at phytochemicals in chapter 8. Chapter 9 is going to be our minerals. So in chapter 9, we're going to look at minerals, and we're going to look at our trace minerals and our major minerals. And again, it's going to be the same pattern. We're going to look at what are their roles in the body, what is important about them, why do we need them, how do we get them into our diets, what are our food sources of them, and also what happens if we have deficiencies and excesses of them. So we're going to look at that for each of our minerals in chapter 9. And also in chapter 9, we're going to talk about water. So if you recall from the very beginning of the semester, we talked about how water was one of those 6 classes of essential nutrients. So we're going to talk about why water is important to our body. How much water do we need? What kind of roles is it playing? So that's what it's going to look like for the section that makes up test 3. So that's going to be chapters 8 and chapters 9. For chapter 8, you're going to have a set of essay questions to answer and also a discussion. And then for chapter 9, you're going to have a quiz. And being that it's the last chapter before a test, you're not going to have a discussion post for that. You're going to have later on a unit discussion post. So there's going to be a unit discussion post, and that'll be called the Unit 3 discussion post. And then you're going to have test 3. And test 3 is going to cover chapters 8 and 9 again. It's going to be set up just like all of your previous tests. It's going to be multiple choice. And so that's going to cover that information for vitamins and minerals. This is a really good set of chapters to kind of take notes and outline about it, because some of these, especially when you get into some of the minerals and into some of the B vitamins, some of them might start to overlap a little bit because a lot of them do have overlapping functions and overlapping food sources. So just important to kind of take note of all those. And some of them are going to be very different from the others, so they'll be a lot easier to remember. So if you have any questions about that at all, any concerns, please let me know. Thanks.